Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, there's this unique kind of pressure, right? When you're trying to make a good first impression. We always hear, oh, personality's everything. But let's be real. Before you even say hello, your style's already talking. Sometimes, maybe a little too loudly. That difference between like a great connection and just a complete miss. Often it's in the small things, what you chose to wear. So today we're really getting into the psychology of how we present ourselves. Our mission, to quickly give you a more sophisticated take on style, beyond just the basics. We're pinpointing 6 specific style mistakes that honestly can hijack the attention on a date, pulling focus from, actually connecting. And then we'll pivot. We're going to explore how style can be used not just defensively, but proactively, as a way to connect with culture, express who you are.
It really is all about intention, isn't it? That's the core idea for both halves of our deep dive today. On a first date, ideally, your style supports your confidence. It shouldn't be this distraction that makes your date kind of mentally work overtime away from the conversation. If your clothes make you uncomfortable or if they're just too much visually or sensorially, it creates noise.
Yeah.
It actually undermines the authenticity you're hoping to show.
Okay, let's dig into that. The first trap, and our research showed this one pops up constantly as a distraction. Wearing uncomfortable clothing. Sounds obvious, maybe, but the effects are quite deep, psychologically speaking. It's fascinating, isn't it? How that desire to impress can just completely push aside common sense. People end up in itchy fabrics or waistbands digging in, shoes they can barely walk in. And the minute you feel physically constricted, something happens in your body, right? Your nervous system kind of kicks in.
Oh, absolutely. The sympathetic nervous system. You're not just feeling awkward. You're literally creating a low-level stress response in yourself.
Which you then project outwards.
Precisely. If you're constantly aware of that tight sleeve or, a tag scratching your neck, your focus is split. And that tiny bit of anxiety, it shows up in your behavior. Maybe you fidget, pull at your collar without thinking, or shift your weight constantly. Your date might not consciously know why, but they pick up on the signal. Something's off, you're not relaxed.
So the key takeaway is finding that balance. Looking good, yes, but feeling genuinely comfortable.
It has to be both. If the outfit needs constant adjusting, it just reads as insecurity. You want your clothes to be this quiet, steady foundation, not some loud, cheeky scaffolding you're trying to hold up.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And it leads us right into the next set of traps, which we've kind of grouped together as sensory overload, or maybe visual static.
Visual white noise, yeah. Things that are just so overpowering they demand all the attention, pulling focus from your face, your personality.
So let's not just say loud clothing. Let's call it visually overpowering prints and high contrast attire.
Exactly, like really busy patterns, neon colors, or even big slogans that force your date to form an opinion right away. It puts this cognitive load on them. They're busy processing the outfit before they can even fully process what you're saying.
Whereas the research points towards subtle, well-put-together outfits communicating a sort of quiet confidence. It lets the interaction be the main event. And the same idea applies to what got termed statement beauty. Makeup that's maybe too bold, too heavy, or uses really intense, maybe experimental colors.
Yeah, the goal for our first meeting is usually enhancement, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily a full-on performance piece.
Right. If you want subtlety, classic styles, neutral tones, they enhance your features naturally. That dramatic look you might wear for a big night out with friends, under, say, the bright lights of a restaurant for a one-on-one, can feel a bit overwhelming. You want to look like you, just maybe a slightly polished version, not like a walking art installation.
And that visual clutter idea, it carries right over into over-accessorizing. And we're not just talking about, big, flashy jewelry. It's the whole picture. Too many layers, maybe too many shiny bits, chains clanking together, a watch that looks way too big for your wrist.
So it becomes the focal point.
It absolutely can. When you overload the look, the accessories literally draw the eye. Your date might be looking at your necklace or your wrist instead of making eye contact. If you look cluttered, you might feel cluttered, and you certainly present that way. The better approach. Choose 1 or 2 key pieces. Maybe something that could even start a conversation, but doesn't dominate it.
Okay. Now, the sensory trap discussion was really eye-opening for me because it's one people get wrong so often.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the overuse of perfume or cologne. People think, I want to make an impact, so they grab their strongest scent. But wow, that can backfire spectacularly.
Oh, definitely. We're not talking a pleasant little hint of fragrance here. We're talking about what some sources called olfactory aggression.
That's a strong term.
It is, but it fits. Really strong scents are just a lot. They can actually interfere with the taste of food if you're eating, or worse, trigger allergies or sensitivities in your date.
And there was that point about olfactory fatigue, right? You stop smelling your own perfume pretty quickly.
Exactly. That's the danger zone. You can't smell it anymore, so you think, oh, maybe I need a bit more. And suddenly you've created this, like, impenetrable scent cloud around yourself.
Right, when the goal is just a hint of personal charm, including, your natural scent, maybe slightly enhanced.
Precisely. The advice is usually a single light spritz, pulse points only wrists, maybe the neck. Keep the projection minimal. You want it to be a nice little discovery if someone leans in close, not a wall of scent hitting them from across the table.
Got it. Okay, so the final trap, this one feels foundational. Skipping out on grooming. Our sources actually put basic negligence right up there with uncomfortable clothes in terms of negative impact.
Yeah, it's not just about looking perfect, it's about showing you care. It signals respect for the occasion and for the other person's time.
So neglecting the basics like clean nails, maybe hair that looks intentionally cared for, trimmed facial hair if you have it, it sends a message.
It sends a message of carelessness, basically. It's subtle, maybe, but it can register as, this wasn't important enough for me to put in a basic level of effort, which is definitely not the vibe you want on a first date. Good grooming just removes a potential distraction. It ensures the focus stays on the conversation, on getting to know each other.
Okay, so that first half was really about minimizing the noise, right? Getting rid of the distractions, the static, so your actual personality can come through clearly. But what if style isn't just about avoiding things? What if it's the signal itself? Used deliberately to build connection. This is where we shift gears a little into this really powerful idea of fashion connecting with heritage. We found that for people in the diaspora, style is this really tangible way to stay connected to their roots, especially living far from, their ancestral home.
It's a fascinating area, particularly when you look at, say, the modern professional world. People often talk about this. Cultural code-switching fatigue. This feeling that you have to completely suppress parts of your identity in certain spaces, especially formal Western ones.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. So bringing elements of, for example, distinctive African styles into your everyday wear, even workwear, it becomes this really compelling act. It's both self-expression and a statement of connection. You're actively weaving your identity into your surroundings, making your heritage visible, saying it's part of who you are, here and now.
And the way to do that effectively while still navigating professional norms seems to be about specificity and subtlety in how you integrate it. It's not costume.
Exactly. Specificity is key for anyone listening who's interested in this. Don't just think African print. Think about specific textiles, specific motifs, and their meanings.
Like kente cloth.
Like kente with all its history. Maybe not a full kente suit for the office, perhaps. What about using it as a striking lining inside a blazer? Or a pocket square that really pops?
Interesting.
Or think about Bogolonfini, the mud cloth. It has these amazing earthy textures, geometric patterns. That could be an accent on shoes, maybe a detail on a bag. For women, maybe a beautifully tailored modern suit, but cinched with a sash, or paired with a scarf made from a dyer, or another textile with a rich pattern.
So the choices are professional, functional, but also deeply expressive.
Yes. They actively build that bridge between your current life and your roots.
It's a really powerful way to communicate your story without needing to spell it out. It's like visibility with purpose. And it combats that code-switching fatigue we talked about.
It absolutely does. Plus, it often becomes a great conversation starter. Someone might ask about the pattern or the fabric, and it opens up a natural way to share a bit about your culture.
Wearing something with, say, a dinkra, symbols patterns that carry actual philosophical meanings, like Sankofa, learned from the past, that transforms clothing.
It turns it into wearable ideology, doesn't it? It's a very sophisticated way to manage and communicate your identity, much more than just picking out clothes.
Wow. So this whole deep dive really changes how we think about style. Whether you're carefully planning a first date look to avoid those pitfalls, to eliminate distractions, or you're intentionally weaving heritage into your wardrobe to strengthen that cultural connection.
Yeah.
The choices you make, they always shape how you interact with the world.
Yeah, the bottom line really in any situation is making sure your clothes support you, your authentic self. They should make you feel confident, comfortable, ready to connect, not hold you back.
Which brings us to our final thought for you to chew on.
Right. So much style advice focuses on the negative, what not to do, how not to distract. Let's flip that. Beyond just dodging the traps, what insight or element from your own heritage or personal history could you bring into your style? powerfully, tastefully. Think about fashion not just as making an impression, but as actively building bridges, asserting your identity. What new connections might that open up?